It's a floor! Welcome to another video, guys. Today we are doing the floor. I am halfway through the job, but I forgot to film an intro, to be totally real with you. So yeah, the floor, part of it is in. But yeah, I'm going to be doing the ply, the battening and the lino, so hope you enjoy.
Now the first thing I did was buy 4 pieces of pine strip wood from B&Q. This was 15 by 25 mil and each piece was 2.5 meters or 2.4 meters. There's just me putting my safety gear on before I use the jigsaw with the wood blades, which I got from B&Q for around £8. And here I was chopping each piece of pine strip wood into, well, the first piece I cut into 2 pieces of 1.2 meters and the other 3 pieces I cut into 4 smaller pieces of 60 centimeters. Now this was following Nomadic Kangoo's battening kind of plan. I spoke about that in my last video. I'll drop the link to the video below, but I'm copying what Nomadic Kangoo does. Now I wanted an entire run of battening. I measured 50 centimeters from the right and 70 centimeters from the right wall. This was because I wasn't sure where the bed was going to pull out to, but I wanted to have a full batten down where I was going to secure the bed to. So once I decide later on, I will have a full piece of battening to screw the bed down into. Now the rest of the battens, I just put those evenly spaced across the rest of the floor of the van. Now these were in between the gaps between the raised bits of the floor, and then I just stuck it down using the Sikaflex. The next thing I did was take the rubber matting that came with the van, and I used pieces of cardboard because the matting didn't quite match the floor, so I used pieces of cardboard to extend the matting to make a template, and then I laid that flooring out onto 2 pieces of plywood. This is going to be the base of my floor. Now I drew all around that template and marked on the ply just to get an outline of where I needed to cut. Now I decided to use 9mm hardwood ply. I got 2 sheets of this. It was 244 by 122 centimeters and they were £26 per sheet. Here you can see this is what the outline looks like on the pieces of ply. And then I just took the jigsaw with the same wooden blades and cut out the design. So it did take me a bit of time to get into the hang of this. I didn't have anything official to put the pieces of ply on, so I'm just resting this ply here on 2 plastic boxes, which you'll see in a second. Probably would have been better if I'd had kind of, I don't know what it's called, but you can get those kind of structures that you rest ply on. You can even get like the grips that you hold it in place, but yeah, I managed it with 2 plastic boxes, even if it's not the most professional. It was absolutely boiling this day when I cut out this template, so I was really struggling in the heat because it was just so warm. And again, this was quite tricky to do in a public car park. I had quite a few funny looks. I tried to stay out of the way as much as I could. The next stage was to get the piece of ply into the van, and big shout out to my friend Gregor here, who saw me struggling across the car park and came and helped me. We quickly realised, however, that my template was a little bit off. I think this was because I hadn't considered the width of the insulation, the 5mm on either side of the wheel arches, so we did have to take it out twice and cut a bit more off with the jigsaw. But eventually we did manage to get it into the van looking great. This wasn't stuck down or anything. Next, I cut the second piece of ply and put that into the van. Now, I really struggled to get the markings of where the battens were. You can probably see there's lots of messed up lines on the first piece. So I found it easy using my very official set square, i.e. a cardboard box, to wait until the piece of wood was in the van and then just mark where the battens were and draw a straight line. After that, I used a 1.8mm drill bit to pilot hole along the markings. You want pilot holes to be slightly smaller than the diameter of your screws in wood. Then Gregor used a countersunk drill bit before I screwed in the screws, which were PZ2 20mm length.
I think that's all of them done, isn't it? Look at that!
Ta-da!
It's a floor!
Next, I got a roll of vinyl 2x2 meters in brown oak plank from B&Q for £52, and again I put the mat on it and just drew around the outside. I left a bit of extra because I wanted it to be more than enough, and I just used regular kind of kitchen house scissors to cut this. It didn't need any kind of special tool. It looked like this once I'd cut it out. I thought it looked really good actually. I really liked the colour, that was why I went for this one. Then I laid it in the van, and here the kind of strategy I'm using I got from a video on Self-Built Stories YouTube channel. I will link below. They do a much better job of it than I do, but yeah, it's kind of marking out with a pen where the join is, cutting downwards and then cutting across, and I found that worked really well. Now I will have to go back, as Self-Built Stories do, and go around the edges with a sealant just to make sure no liquid can get down the sides of the vinyl, but I haven't done that as of yet. When I was thinking about what floor to go for, lots of videos I've seen that talk about regrets in van builds are from cheaping out on their floor and then having to replace it later, which is a lot of effort and very costly because you often have to rip out so many things. So that was why I went for this single sheet of vinyl. It was £52, but I'm hoping that it will last really well and much better than kind of individual tiles or planks. Now you can see here, so that is around the edging where I will put the sealant, but it was looking really quite nice and neat at this point and it fit really well. So then I went in with a contact adhesive, which I got from B&Q for £6, I'll link it below. I asked in B&Q and this was the one that was recommended, so yeah, we'll see how well it holds. I did that for the whole of the floor, all underneath, and once it was all stuck down it was looking like this. Now there are a couple of things I'm going to have to figure out what to do, namely at the back here it was a bit more raised than I was expected, but I'm really happy how it turned out.